am one out of 3 other siblings, and I was born at home because my dad was kind of crazy and abusive, and so we eventually got away from him and we went from shelter to shelter. I've just moved around like a lot. I've never been at a school longer than 2 years. It makes it difficult to adjust all the time. I work at Kacina Elementary. I'm a custodian there. I work 19 hours a week usually, and then during the summer I get to work a little more.
During my sophomore year of high school at Ironwood, there was an open case that was opened with my parents and I with Child Protective Services. My parents had a drug addiction, and so we had to deal with that. And the challenging part for me, well, going through the case was challenging, but I was actually the one that reported them. So that was rather difficult. It lasted through my sophomore and my junior year of high school, and it ended around the start of my senior year. I currently live with my grandparents. My grandparents were given guardianship of me at the end of the case.
I was born with a string of birth defects known as VOCTERL, where it's a V obviously stands for vertebrae, and it's basically just a string of birth defects where some of them had implications early on in my life, but now some of them are starting to appear later. Most of the stuff isn't really relevant to my life anymore, but some of the stuff has made things worrisome for the future.
Over the last few years, I've been volunteering at Sunrove Village Care Center, which is an elderly care home for those with medical needs. Because it's not only an elderly care home, it's actually a care home for the elderly with a medical need. It definitely taught me a lot of patience, because a lot of them varied from very functional lives to they needed a lot of assistance through their daily activities.
I volunteered at Banner Boswell Medical Center for 2 years, and there I worked at 2 different nursing units and an outpatient infusion center. I feel like interacting with the patients in the field that I want to eventually go into was really, it just prepared me for the professional environment.
I was born in Iraq in the Middle East. I was born and raised there. Of course, born in 1997, it was kind of it was already, things weren't so great there. My family had just come back from Libya after having immigrated away from the war in Iraq. And then in 2003 was when obviously the whole Iraq war started. And then we had to leave in 2006 because things got so bad. As far as like my memory can go back, like during those days it was just real dangerous. There was never really a guarantee you'll come back home alive from school. The fact that I got to leave all that behind me and had the opportunity to come here, I feel like I was blessed with this, and so I feel like the need to make the best of it, you know.
Growing up, my family faced some really significant financial struggles. Many of the costs associated with raising a family of 4 were not met by his income every single year. And then later on, unfortunately, he was laid off from his job. And in that period, it was extremely difficult for us even to make basic ends meet. As far as food, even being able to sometimes pay for gas to get to places. It was just a very, very difficult time, not only financially, also physically, but also just emotionally. I did try to take advantages of what I could do here, being involved, really setting myself in a path that I could, in the future, hopefully be in a situation which I could give back to them because they've sacrificed so much for me. I plan on attending Harvard University coming up in the fall, which I was very, very excited to find out I was accepted to last December. Once I go there, I love to study government and economics. I'd love to be involved in public service, public policy, influencing policy in our society.
The plan so far is to attend the University of Arizona and then probably leave out of state for a better med school.
I plan on going to Grand Canyon University and study nursing there, so hopefully get my undergrad there, and then I eventually want to go back to school to become a nurse practitioner.
I'm planning on going to ASU this fall. I'm doing the Barrett Honors College, hoping to graduate with an honors degree in some kind of engineering, and then hopefully I'm gonna get a master's or a doctorate eventually and open my own engineering firm.
Next year I've been accepted to the University of Arizona, so I've been working on all those steps and I'm very excited. I'm actually majoring in deaf studies with a focus on interpreting for the deaf and hard of hearing.
I want to go into law and arbitration, so not really like the big old court setting there, but I'm interested in similar things. I want to go to ASU.
I would like to go on to study social work and hopefully potentially do work in that field, and then work my way up to becoming an attorney for children that are within the foster system.
Thank you, Peoria Education Foundation.
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 Thank you, Peoria Education Foundation.